Morning and welcome to this week's Content Classroom. And this week I want to share with you 3 common mistakes that most people make when they start working with video for creating leads and improving their brand proposition, creating authenticity, and generally just being seen as an expert on professional networking site like LinkedIn. So let's step away from social media for a moment and let's just look at LinkedIn because that's predominantly my network space. So the first common mistake that I see people making is they try to be perfect with their videos. Perfect isn't what people want to see anymore. I create videos that are pretty much, I could do a limited amount of editing with them. I don't re-record anything unless it's been drastically bad or been interrupted. It's okay to have, the odd filler word in there and a couple of ledger words in there and maybe a little bit of rambling. It's all part of who you are, and it helps people see that there's a person behind the camera, that there's a real person behind the keyboard. More than anything right now, people are craving authenticity, that you are who you say you are and that what you're putting out, the message that you put out resonates with who you are deep down. And they're craving originality, in the videos. They want to know that you're not just regurgitating the same things that everybody else is, that you're not using ChatGPT to create every bit of content that you create, and that you are just unique. And I think that goes a long way. The second mistake that I see a lot of people making is they try to make their videos all about them, especially when you first start creating video for social media and for LinkedIn. The temptation is to go with telling people all about your products and services, telling people why you want to do what you do, and leading with your business use cases and challenges and things. And that's a problem because the likelihood is at that early stage, one, you're still quite anxious on camera. It takes a long time, takes a lot of training, it takes a lot of repetition to get over that being on camera fear. So my advice to people is always balance putting the right messages out there about who you are and why you do what you do with what's in it for them. Because most people couldn't give 2 hoots about who you are. Couldn't give 2 hoots about the conference you've just been to, couldn't give 2 hoots about the new product or service you've just launched and the ins and outs and the features and benefits. What they want to know is, how will they feel having worked with you? Ultimately, that's the end goal that you want to get to. You want to start off with helping them to understand what sort of problems and challenges you've solved. So talking about industry topics, talking about trends in the industry. Have a look on Google. And as you start typing in something you think your audience will search for, just look at the alternatives that come up there. And there's also a website called Answer the Public, which basically you can put a couple of keywords in there and it will tell you all of the top search tokens from across the web that people are searching for in your space. It's really useful for getting ideas as to what you should be talking about to create that original awareness. Then when you've gotten a little bit more comfortable with that, then you should be moving down into creating deeper content where you start to answer some of those challenges. How should they be dealt with? Not only that they exist and what the symptoms might be, what people might be feeling to capture their attention at the awareness stage, but then to move the customer down that buy-in journey to that next level to say, here's how you can fix your problems without your products and services. How would you do it if you didn't have access to the sorts of products and services that you offer as a business, if you were putting the client's shoes on? And then lastly, when they obviously want to engage with you, they need to know a little bit more about you. They need to know why you're different to everybody else. So that's when you start to talk much more about yourself. But for me, if you're talking about anything to do with your business, you should be getting some support with your messaging to make sure that what you're saying about your business makes sense. It matches your go-to-market strategy. It matches your ideal client persona, so your ideal buyer, or it talks to your ideal partners. And I think for a lot of people, that's really, really hard to do succinctly. So I would always recommend, even if it's just from a friend or somebody you've worked with in the past, get their advice on that messaging before you start to get that out. But certainly get your anxiety out the way by talking about subjects that you can be passionate about without sounding salesy, because that's why most people re-record messages. And then the third thing that people do wrong with video is they just don't start. That's the crucial thing. I can't count the amount of people that have come to me and said, I've recorded some video and, I'm going to get it out there and thank you for inspiring me. And then they never do. Never get it out there. What's the point? What's the point in spending all that time and energy on recording it if you don't get it out there? Don't let imposter syndrome stop you, or anxiety stop you from getting your content out there, because otherwise you'll never get better at what you do. You need to get that 1% better with every single video, with every bit of content. Make sure that you're pushing through that, getting out of your comfort zone, and just launch it. And you'll be surprised what positive feedback you'll get from your champions and inner circle around you. And that's it for Content Classroom this week. Let me know if you put any of that into practice, and if you have any worries or concerns around that, reach out to me, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you, and maybe we can troubleshoot some of those things together. Bye-bye.